let me start today by saying I've added my glue blocks so that I'm going to be screwing and gluing, or not gluing, just screwing this down into this opening. And so I've done this so many times, and I'll tell you why. I have such a tight fit on this top that when I push it down in there, I've got to reach underneath and knock it out with a mallet or a long stick. So I'm getting tired of it. So what I've done is when I glued these in place, I had this in place and I pushed these up against it, and then I took this out to make sure that none of the glue seeping out here stuck to the lid and locked it in place. Then I clamped these, carefully, but even with that, some of these moved on me a little bit, and I could feel it. So I took when I did that, I took a piece of scrap and made sure that they were flush here, and even still, some of them moved. So what I had to do was put the lid in place, take it out, put it back, put it in, take it out. I had 3 of these I had to pare down with my chisel. And so now I have it where I like it. It's nice and flush. It works out fine. I'm going to be drilling 8 holes here into the blocks, through the plywood into the blocks, countersinking them. And then I'm thinking, why do I have to keep knocking this thing out? I'm going to drill a handle right here as well. I've got it marked and laid out, so I can just reach in and grab it. It'll be easier to move it, and it'll be easier to take it off and on down the road. Same thing on this one over here on the other side here. It's sitting in the background. I'll do this exact same thing. But what I'm showing you is that I've got the top marked for the block locations, and then that'll also help me locate where my T-nuts are going to go to fasten this to my shuffleboard table. And you need 3 or 6 per leg. Other than that, I guess, I guess one more thing. Because this is tapered, this one is not, the outside leg is not tapered, but this one is. I hope you can see that, but the screw is going to go straight in, and the block tapers away. So I want to kind of shade a little bit off of center so that when that screw goes straight in, it's going to stay in the meat of that block that's underneath here, that hardwood oak block. So you can see here that, it's that 4-degree taper, and if you put the screw out in the middle, of course you got the side here, but I guess it's not that big of a deal. But anyway, there's the middle, and yeah, it stays in the block. I guess I really don't have to worry that much. So anyway, I'll drill the 8 holes straight in. Come back in here and use that as a guide and pre-drill these blocks. And then also I'm going to cut out my handle as well. So we'll come back after I've got all that set to go. I don't care how pretty that looks, it just has to work. And not give me any slivers. And that works. Okay, I'm going to just take this off again and work on this corner over here. That works. Much better. Alright, I'm just going to pare a little bit more off of that corner. Maybe, let me see here. This might be the culprit. Yep. Yeah, this rises up, so I got to take a little off of that side. Put that up against my bench leg there. So I got something to push against. That is very close, just a little bit more, I think will solve the problem. That should do it. There. Geez, it still wants to sit up a little proud right there. Oh, I think I see. Look at this again. All right. We have a bingo. There. Flush. Okay, so one down, one to go. Now I can move them wherever I want. Got them both done now. Love the handles. That's going to work out great. Next operation is a T-nuts triangle pattern 2 and 1, and they call for 3/8 T-nuts. Fate would have it I have 5/16 T-nuts in my drawers, but I only have 9 of them anyway, so I'd have to get some more. But I'll go pick up some T-nuts, 3/8 coarse thread T-nuts, and drill those out, put them in, and then the next thing would be to, after that, would be to match this up, match this cover plate up with my shuffleboard playing surface table, and match those holes up and then bolt everything together. Then what I want to do is get everything out of my shop and start working on the trim boards and stuff. Everything was going just fine with my legs, except that when I was sanding, I had this part right here, I had a loose piece of laminate, you know, one of the plies, the outer ply. My paper got underneath it and peeled this out. It came out and I had 2 pieces. I was thinking about trying to put it back in there and glue it down, but It's just, I think it's gonna just be better. I'll get some putty, fill that in, sand it, and this will be an inside back edge of my table. But I think once I get that on there and sand it off, why you often see that on some of this stuff, that they'll fill those voids. So I got a void to fill here. I'll get some of that, some wood putty to take care of that too. Alright, just made my trek to the local superstore, I guess, lumber superstore in our area. It's called Menards. And the guy who owns the joint, John Menard, this is his world headquarters here in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. So I picked up some lock washers. I've got flat washers already, some bolts, T-nuts, and then I picked up this JB Weld. I've used some of their other products before, and I'm going to try this two-part epoxy wood weld, it's called. So altogether I got about 20 bucks into this. There was a couple of magnetic bit drivers I picked up as well. So I'm gonna, that's one thing I will tell you too. So far in this project, I've got about, I want to say about maybe 275 total, 275 bucks so far. But we've got some bigger ticket items coming up here too. So anyway, onward. I'm going to install my T-nuts or lay them out. I didn't realize this package was open when I bought it. I hope I got everything I paid for here. 2, 6, 9, 12, okay, 15, that's fine. So one here, one there, one like that. Something like that anyway. I'll figure out the layout. And they'll all get done the same, and then they come in from the bottom side. And one thing about using these T-nuts though is I'm going to have to kind of cap them, I think, because if you go to put a bolt in from the top side and you're threading it, you're trying to get it started, and if you tap it a little bit, you could knock that T-nut out. So I'll figure that out too. All right, it says mix equal amounts of the two pieces of this epoxy, so I just put it on the back of my old plastic Bessie lamp, and I'm just using this old phone card. Let's see how she works here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of put a little curve on this, so that it leaves it standing just proud of the area that I'm working on here. No, I don't want to play around with it too much, but Okay. We'll let that set up. And sand her flush. Looks like I guessed pretty well on that amount. I don't like to have a lot of waste on stuff like that. That looks pretty good. I'm gonna let her go.